Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Print Pretzels. We're here with the live stream tonight. Having a little bit of camera difficulty. I think it's on Streamlabs side, so I'll have to watch what you guys are seeing on the YouTube studio. But if you can hear me, drop a thumbs up in the chat. Got some cool stuff planned for tonight. All right, thank you, I appreciate that. Still getting over a cold. I don't know if it's ever going to go away or if I'm just stuck with a perpetual cough for the rest of my life, but who knows. So tonight, before we get into the thick of things, we've got quite a bit of chaos going on here in the studio, as you guys can see. We've got the plate cycler here that was sent over to us by Chitu Box. Thanks, shout out to them. This thing's pretty awesome. We'll get into that a little bit later. We got some new pretzels to try tonight. Our standard ice water, Sunlu pen. We're gonna go over some tips on how to fix some failed prints and what this thing can and cannot do in our experience and what that's about. And then we also have some new arrivals in the studio. We haven't even, we just got the boxes down here, excuse me, into the grotto from Phrozen. The air purifier has arrived and their enclosure has arrived and the box is huge. I was very surprised on that when it arrived at the front porch. There was something else too that I was gonna mention. Don't know. Oh, we have the new audio we're trying out tonight. The new microphone arrived. We're seeing if it's there's been some reports, and I went back and watched some live streams, and it just wasn't the quality that we're looking for our live stream. So we're trying out another microphone by DJI. So we'll see how that goes. So, and something neat that's coming up for the live stream. Not only with the Sunlu pen do you have to plug it into the USB port, but if you have a power bank, it usually works with the power bank. So we'll try that out tonight too, to make sure that goes well. But if everyone's doing well tonight, let's see if Streamlabs is cooperating with me now. If I can see it, no. So we'll have to keep an eye on the chat box. If you guys have any questions, it'll be a little bit of a delay because studio on my side is about 10 seconds behind the live stream. So if I don't answer your question right away, that's probably why, and I'll get back to it. So without further ado, let's get into some of the cool things that we have done over the past week or so, or things that we've arrived. So we've got the Chitu Box Plate Cycler C1M here that's transformed our A1 Mini into, it looks like a spaceship here. You can't really see from this angle, but it adds this attachment on the back and this like foot thing in the front. We're in the middle of filming content for this right now, but right now we're printing some fidget clickers that are Pokeballs. We're printing the bottoms on here because for all the different Pokeball fidget clickers that we're doing by Makerize 3D, we'll get a link in the description here in a little bit for that. All the bottoms are the same. So for us, it makes sense to do all of them on this machine because it can go non-stop. I tested some standard fidgets from Maker World on this overnight, one at a time, and it spat the plates out really well. If you're going to get this, we do have a link in the description for both the Amazon and the official store for Chitu Box. It is an affiliate link, so we may get a kickback if you decide to get it or not. For those of you that are viewing post-stream or on live stream, just be aware of that. But this thing is awesome. We reached back out the Chitu Box to see if they send us a few more plates, just to see if we can do like maybe see how long we can keep this thing going. They advertise that you can do up to 10 plates, so that's really cool. And right now it looks like we got 12, 15 Pokeball fidget clickers on the bottom. And since they don't have a whole lot of different color variations, the bottom piece is just black and white, and a little bit of red, I think. Yeah, a little bit of red. It won't waste that much filament. So, excuse me, we can keep a run on this and it'll just shoot the plates off. Haven't really figured out how to work it on, because that's going to be where its home is over there. You can just see it here in the corner of the camera. But we haven't figured out how to work that into its home yet because of the way the plate cycler works, and it's really cool. This thing gives me USS Enterprise vibes from Star Trek, but we haven't really figured out how to work when the plate shoots off, what to do with that yet. I think we got to make a little stand to put it on top of. So if you guys know anything that, excuse me, we can put that on top of, so when it shoots it off, and then like maybe we'll put a laundry basket off the side of the shelf or something that I can go into. But my luck, if I put a laundry basket there with some sort of padding in it, a cat will be in there when it shoots it off. So, but so we're reviewing that right. Excuse me. We're reviewing that right now, and it's going well. I'm very, very pleased with how it's going. And for, I think it's like $80, it transforms the entire machine. There are a couple of pieces on there that we had to, or one piece that we had to reprint off, because it is a 3D printed piece that comes with it. The whole kit comes together, the plates, the mods, and if you have any issues with your pieces, you can actually 3D print the piece for your machine. I don't know if you can see it on the front here, but one of the pieces is a black piece, and one of the pieces is a gray piece. We had to reprint the black piece off because it was having a hard time clipping in there. But it printed off well. I stuck it right on there, and away we keep going. So that piece is awesome. Let's get into our pretzels for tonight. The Snyders of Hanover Twisted Pretzel Sticks. Hope this isn't too loud with a new microphone. It's a pretty crunchy bag. The flavor is seasoned with a buttery blend of spices. Big flavor is what it's advertised. And of course, if you guys have any questions about either any of the machines that we have or machine that you have, drop them in the chat so we can help you out. Last week we covered how to get started on your A1 Mini when you have it. This week we're upgrading a little bit. These are really good. Wow. And they're right, they are pretty buttery. So before we get into the Sunlu pen and the ordeal that we're going to get with that, I want to show you guys some new arrivals to the studio. I'm going to switch over to the Alpha Centauri cam. Sorry. Here we go. And I'll show you how big this frozen enclosure is. The box, anyways. Hopefully, as I walk, my microphone stays with me. This thing's massive. As you can see, I'm about a 6 foot tall person, and this box is huge. So we're gonna have to figure out where this landscape is gonna be over here. This is the Frozen Air Purifier Max that we got today also. So that's gonna purify the air in here, keep things going well. You can hook these up to different machines with the tubing. So we're excited to get into that too. But I just wanted to demonstrate how giant this thing is. So that's awesome to see. So now that we've gone over, oh, and one other update for you guys on the Frozen side of things. We did get our repair piece for our Frozen Arco. I'm trying to get to it. Excuse me. because our machine is currently not usable. We have to replace one of the boards on the machine so that we can update the machine. So we're gonna try to get to that this week and get that uploaded into there or into the machine. But let me get some of the room cleared off here. Take care of these crunchy but delicious pretzels. Some of the content that we're filming for this week and maybe next week, we have the plate cycler that's arrived that we're filming, or we're editing content for. We have the AMS heater for IBOS that we're editing, and we're also editing a lot of irons in the fire. We're also editing our maintenance video for the A1 or the A1 machine. So be on the lookout for those when those drop. So without further ado, let's get into the Sunlu pen. Currently, it's like Sunlu knew that I was planning to do this video on 3D printing and how to fix your failed prints this week because they decided to run a sale on this pen and other accessories along with it. But really a big sale on this pen. It's usually $39.99, but if right now it's sold out on Sunlu's website because they dropped it down to $19.99. I don't know if they're getting ready to release a new model or what, but if you can't find that with our affiliate link, we also put a backup pen that we like for the Amazon store, so you can find that in the description as well, I believe. Let me check that. Yeah, you can find that over on our beacons page. All right, which is in the description. So what we use the Sunlu 3D pen for in the studio, it's for a few different things as I turn it on here to get it preheated. Maybe. But what we use this for in the studio is to weld prints together, essentially. Sooner or later, this thing will turn on. I might have to plug it into the computer. We weld prints together, patch some failed prints together. There we go. Now we got power. So my power brick must be dead. A few weeks ago on our live stream, we were doing fidget toys. And we were printing off some of these cool looking carrots by 3DP Mom. You can find that over on our Maker World page in our collections for fidgets. But she makes a cool farm fidgets and other cool fidgets like that for food and other related things. But when we were printing these, the AMS unit decided to act up, and it caused a failed print right at the top of these green stems. What happened to my live stream here? Looks like the audio or the video might have froze. See if I can't. Yeah, the camera's not on. That's weird. Switching cameras real quick, guys. There we go. I should have brought you guys back to me. Sorry about that. Don't know why. Camera just decided to do not camera. So, should be back live again with the visuals. So, what we're doing with our Sunlu 3D pen tonight is we're repairing some prints that failed. So, if your prints get to be about 90 or 95, 98% done, and it's just those top few layers that aren't finished, you can use a Sunlu pen to, or any 3D pen for that matter, to fill in those layers. So we have a couple of things here that we've been meaning to repair and we haven't got around to yet. So I figured let's do it on Print Pretzels. So two materials we have. We have PLA, which is this set of prints here. We're going to use the green to do that. And then later on, we're going to do with PETG. So we're going to heat our pen up here. Right now it's heating up to 160 degrees Celsius. We're almost there. And then we'll feed in some of this green filament. So what I'm going to do, stick that right in there for now. I'm going to break off a piece of this filament. I don't really need a whole lot because there's just a few pieces that just need some touch up just so we can. It's got a suction cup on the bottom, but this table surface is kind of porous, so it doesn't hold very well. So we got some green filament here. PLA specifically from Sunlu. It's their green, just standard green. We're going to feed it into our pen here. And you'll see here in a second, maybe, it might be hard to see on the camera here, but once this feeds into, it'll come out here at the end, and then we'll be able to fill in those gaps on these prints. So if you're just beginning your 3D printing journey and you have some failed prints, you don't have to always throw them out. You can repair some of them. All right, so we have some old filament left in here, PETG filament from another print that we had to fix a long while ago. So we're just waiting for the green to come out. There it is. And it is hot, so wait until it cools for a second and then pull it off of there. So we're going to take our print and we're just going to go over to this and fix those failed spots. And I'm going to use the silicone sock here to knock off some of the excess here. Just want to touch this up so that way tops are finished. This one didn't turn out great. Ouch. We're going to try that again. So again, if you have failed prints, you don't necessarily have to throw them out. They can be repaired with a 3D pen. Now, it's not going to look like the precise machine per se, because we're not machines. No, but if you're an artist and you like to do things like this, uh, you could probably make it look pretty good. I'm not an artist per se. I like to create, but I wasn't gifted with those awesome talents of drawing and things like that. So I'm just going to take this and smooth out this here real quick. And those are repaired-ish. Best of my ability. So now the tops don't have holes in them, and they're just kind of like filled in. Now we're going to retract our filament here. As you see, we didn't need a whole lot just for that little bit. This next one is going to be quite a few, or quite a bit. So I'll probably just let the roll dangle down on the floor. Something to drink here. My camera stopped working again. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Very strange. Hey guys, just switching cameras around here. If this happens again, I'll have to try something different. All right, so I see that we're back online. Not sure what's causing that issue, but if it happens again, I'll swap out the camera. But we've repaired these little carrots. We're going to back out our filament out of our pen. Maybe. Hi, Riley. Here we go. So that's the green that we're taking care of there. This is excess filament. I'll patch that back up later with the Sunlu filament connector. Trying to make sure that I'm watching this camera to make sure it doesn't go off again like that. So now we're going to load this PETG up into the pen. We're going to repair this one. So most of the 3D pens, not just Sunlu, advertise that you can 3D print with PLA and ABS. You can print with, or you can 3D pen with PETG. Just got to turn it up to the max settings for PLA, is what I do. It comes out just fine. Just gonna get this to load up. It's preheated. So we printed this off in the Snapmaker U1. This Dragon file by Cinderwing 3D. And once it got to about 80% done, the wings lifted off the build plate. So it caused the print to fail. Now what we're going to do is take some PETG, because that's what we're printing this in, and patch the spots that are open that you can see the infill in. Again, I'm not an artist, so I'm not going to have like perfect uh, artistry work here. But it allows us to have a print that's mostly finished, even though we had a fail. This one will take a little bit of time because there's so much to it, and so it's so big, and the pen only goes so fast. We'll also use this pen for things like light boxes, helping them seam together. We used it on our Thor hammers, our LED Thor hammers that we made a while back, to weld the handles to the actual hammerhead so that it all looked like one seamless piece. Trying to make sure that you guys are seeing the camera and it's not freezing again. Seems like it wants to shut off every once in a while. We saw some cool things be dropped this week by Elegoo. They got their new printer out. I honestly, though, feel like it's a day late and a dollar short to the multicolor printing game, because we've got tool changers out now that make 3D printing effectively purgeless. And they're just now putting out their multicolor printer that has purge to it. So they're a day late and a dollar short, but it's a good affordable price. It's right there with the P1S that you can see behind us now. The P1S, I think, is right around $500, and the Centauri Carbon is $430, I think. So that just dropped. Or Centauri Carbon 2, I should say, rather. I think Bamboo is going to be releasing something soon because there's so many of these tool changers coming out. I'm seeing them on Facebook now. I'm seeing them on advertisements when I go to websites. So I don't think they're going to leave this market untouched. I think they've got something coming, and we just got to wait patiently. If we remember last year, they released the H2D right around beginning of March is when they released the information on that. So I think it'll be sometime between the middle to end of February, and the middle of February to middle of March, they're going to come out with some information. Now, I'm not affiliated with, or we're not affiliated with Bamboo in any way. No sponsorships or nothing. We just like their stuff. They're consistent printers. We know how to work on them. So we enjoy their products. Some other things that we got coming into the studio here soon. We're going to be filming content for BQ and Big Tree Tech. They reached out to us and they like what we do and see that we use all their stuff already. So, well, not all their stuff, but we use a lot of their stuff already, especially their build plates. Love, love, love their build plates for adhesion. As we talk about failed prints here. If you've experienced failed prints, let us know in the comments, in the chat, family. We have had our fair share of failed prints. Nothing like spaghetti fails. So, but they reached out to us, and they're going to be sending us some of their new cryo plates, the new colors that are coming out. They're sending us the purple ones, which we're excited. And if we like them, we'll wind up getting the green ones because they're going to match our studio decor, especially over here on the Bamboo Sanctum side. We'll probably move all the blue ones, since they're about the same size as the Centauri Carbons. Build plate. We'll move all the blue ones over there eventually. But we really like those build plates by them. A couple other things that we've seen, and there's a video we put out on it. The Panda Claw extruder, Panda Claw and Panda extruder, we use on these two machines here. We've upgraded to them. Eventually, I'll get to the third one. It has made such a difference when it comes to jams, because, sorry, I gotta adjust this here. The stock extruder on the P1S, it just, every once in a while, there's a section in it that filament, when it goes to retract it, has a tendency to stick a piece in there and leave it in there. And that's when you get an extruder jam, and you just gotta, unfortunately, take apart your whole extruder. Now, what the Panda Claw and Panda extruder do a little bit differently is they make it a little bit more open in there. So any debris that collects up in there has a place to go. And when you do your maintenance, like we do in our P1S video, it can be blown out. It doesn't pile up in there. And if you do got to work on it, it's a little bit more accessible. Something that I would like to try on from them eventually would be their Revo hot end. The only thing I really don't like about our P1S that the P2S has is that swappable quick swap nozzle. We've got a A1 and A1 Mini here that have those, and it's really nice to be able to swap those in and out so quickly. Working on part of the wing here to try to patch this little guy up. We're really looking forward to seeing how this plate cycler to my left here can change our studio flow. I've already printed overnight with it, and instead of having some excuse me, something sitting on the build plate overnight, not being with the printer not printing, now the printer can print throughout the night if one of the plates is done and they keep on going. Now you do have to upload your files to the Chitu Box file calculator once you slice them, so that it can make sure it goes through it. because it'll only show one plate when you go to print. But really what it's doing is it's sending it through the G code. It's telling the printer, okay, once you get to here, you're going to restart all over. It's kind of funny when you see it in the slicer. It looks like it's all the files are just jumbled in together, but it's not. It works so well. The trick to getting it to work so well is making sure that this part back here is leveled properly so it grabs the plate. We had I wouldn't call it a fail, but I didn't level it properly in the beginning, and it started printing on the magnetic part of the build plate. Instead of on the plate itself, because it didn't pull a new plate. It looks like the camera's still doing good. That's good. Give you guys a good view of this thing. I was so bummed when it failed on the printer. I always have the best success with fully enclosed machines with PETG. So I think that's why this failed. That, and I could have used a brim, but brims are really a pain in the butt for me. So I don't like cleaning them off of the prints, especially when I have a new printer. I don't know exactly what the settings are supposed to be. If you have any experience with a Sunlu, or not necessarily Sunlu, but a 3D pen and what you've done with it, let us know in the chat or in the comments if you're viewing this video later. So right now what I'm doing is I'm filling in the infill, which is the hollow spots that as the printer creates the piece, the infill or lack of infill saves material. But if you have a failed print, it doesn't get to make those top layers, which makes the print look complete. So we have to fill it in. And with a piece that's this big, there's a lot to fill in. So it takes a little bit of time. Something I'm thinking about working on, or doing as a video maybe, is explaining what the different build plates do, what you should use for what material. Because I remember as a 3D, when I first began 3D printing, it was kind of confusing. Why was I having this problem? Why was I having this problem? Why did my printer just not print the way it's supposed to? There's a lot to learn. And that's what our community is supposed to be all about. Teaching each other and having fun. When I'm doing the infill, I try to emulate how the nozzle from a printer would go with the layer lines. I mean, I won't ever be as precise as a printer, but I could try. reason why I think Bamboo Lab is going to be releasing something soon, and I've covered this in I think one of the other live streams that I was doing, or that I've done in the past, is with these tool changers that are coming out, they Bamboo's got a big price cap between their P2S, which is around, I think with a combo it's $800, and then say the H2C. I know you can get the H2D at about $1,700, but $1,700 and $800 is a very large price gap. So I believe they're going to fill something in there. I think they're going to take the Vortex system, make it a 4 nozzle system, and put it in the X series / P series chassis, and probably drop it for around $1,100. If you just want the machine itself, they'll probably drop it for $800. Because as you can see behind me, we would probably only want the machine because we have enough AMS units to go around. And it would be nice to be able to print with our machines and not have a bunch of filament waste. What am I printing? Oh, in the back there. So the printer that's behind me, Gundam, is printing a fidget toy Iris fidget clicker, or not clicker, but a fidget container. Let me put this on pause real quick. I actually have one. It's already printed. Let me go grab it real quick. But that's printing a green one. I didn't realize that it kind of looks like a turtle shell from what I can see. But what we've got going on those printers, or on this printer right here, is something that's blown way, way up. So this is the object you see in there, just a different color. And we're going to use these for our little hatchy pals. For the stash you can put them into when you can get it from our Etsy shop, but we also sell them here locally at our fairs and stuff. But you can twist it and open it up. It's a little Iris fidget clicker or fidget toy, but we blew it up to 300% size so we can use the infill or the inside of it to hold our little hatchy pals. We've got treasure chests by Pork 3D that we're also using for that. Let me unplug this real quick so I don't melt my table or my carpet. I'll show you one of those prints that we just did. Turned out really, really well. And I'll show you the material we printed it in. Pork 3D just put these out for us as a request. These little treasure chests. It's another container for our hatchy pals, but this is all print in place pieces that you can put together. As you can see, we haven't put the clasp on the front of this one yet. These are printed in PETG so that they can be put out in the sun and stuff like that. But Strong Hero 3D, which is actually this material, this PETG, you can find that on our in our description. If you click the beacons link, that'll take you to what we use in the studio and what filaments we use. Any links on there are going to be affiliate links, so we will get a small kickback from that. We put that out there so that you guys know what we use in studio. But these turned out really cool. You can fit about 40 of the little hatchy pals in there. We call them hatchy pals, but they're the fidget friends, people call them. Cinderwing calls them her hatchlings, but they're the little animal critters that are out there. But this material is so gorgeous. The sheen on it I was so bummed when this came off the printer and it failed. But we're printing that on the plate cycler. We're printing fidget clickers, Pokeball fidget clickers. So the bottom is the Pokeball, but the top is the Pokemon. And since the bottom doesn't change for the different Pokemon you can put them in or putting in them, we're going to print that on the plate cycler. But right now on this printer over here, directly behind me, you can see some orange things. You can't really see what they are, but there's some Charmander heads that go in the top of those. So that's by Maker IS 3D. I'll get you that link to their Patreon here real quick. Give me 2 seconds, guys. What printers do I have? Transformer Dude. We have in the studio an A1 Mini, 3 Centauri Carbon, or not 3 Centauri Carbons. Well, we do have 3 Centauri Carbons, but 3 P1Ss. 1 Snapmaker U1 that we got about a month ago, I would say. And then let me switch over to the other side here. Alpha Centauri. You guys should be able to see that now. Let me walk over there. We've got 3 Centauri Carbons. One of them is down right now. We got a new board coming for that. So that guy's getting repaired. A hot end board. The other 2 Centauri Carbons. And then we have a Phrozen Arco that's over here. It's currently being worked on. Sorry, I forgot where the camera was at. This came in this week. This is from Phrozen. This is the enclosure that they just put out. I gotta figure out how to put this over here. And then this is also the Air Purifier Max that we're gonna be putting out to help with the air purifications in here. So that's what we're currently running with in the studio. You can also find out that information that is on our beacons page. Let me get back to bamboo side of things here for you so you can see me. So those are the printers that we currently have in the studio. Constantly running things on them. I mean, from functional things like you saw on the Centauri side, I really do a lot of the functional pieces on the Centauri side of things because, excuse me, those are not multicolor printers. Although, if you can print in pieces in multicolor, you can combine them. But if I'm printing shelves, fidget bowls, technically I could print these fidget containers over there if I wanted to, if I didn't want to do multicolor. These have to be printed on here because they're all one piece. So, but anything that's single color is on that side of the house, and then anything that's multicolor is on this side. This side also has a power station from Anchor. So if we have any power outages, that takes over, can run these for about 4.5, 5 hours. If I add anything more in there, it won't run any of the accessories like the AMS heaters that you see or any of the LED lights. It just strictly runs the printers. So that kind of stuff is important if you're running anything more than 1 or 2 printers, and print failures matter. That's why we also run the cool Big Tree Tech plates, because if the power does go out for whatever reason, if you're running one of the textured PEI sheets like these, the gold plated sheets, those require heat, and as they cool down, they release your print. And if you have a power outage, that'll happen. 9 chances out of 10, if you're running one of the Frostbite or Glacier build plates from Big Tree Tech, if you have a power outage, it won't pop off the plate. I've had it happen once out of wintertime here in Michigan. We get a lot of power outages. I've had it happen once out of all the times that, and it wasn't even due to the plate itself. It was when the power resume function of the machine went off, it knocked one of the prints off because it didn't resume properly. So it really wasn't the plate's fault. It was kind of like the printer's internal detection. So that's what we're running in the studio. we're constantly adding things. Like I said, we just got this plate cycler for our A1. This can completely changes how we look at our A1. And we'll drop that review video here in the next probably week or so after we finish testing it. But it's gonna live over here, excuse me, on this side of the house, multicolor, and it's just gonna be able to print continuously. So that's pretty exciting. If we need to print pieces for what these machines are printing, we can print it on here now, and it can keep up. The build plate size was kind of a limiting factor, but not really anymore because we can print multiple plates, and these really can't without human intervention. So that's really cool. So I hope that answers your question, Transformer Dude. Appreciate that. Dropping that in the comments. We're testing out a new microphone tonight too. So if you guys can help me out, if the audio is clear, give me a thumbs up in the chat. That'd be awesome. We've had some not performing microphones lately, so we're trying to find the right one. Some of the things that we do run in the studio here that excuse me, can make a big difference for those that are just beginning their 3D printing journey that may not know it, and even those of us obviously that have been printing a while, like we have. The Sunlu AMS heaters, super awesome, especially if you're like us and we don't have like filament dryers, the actual dedicated like filament drying section yet. We got a whole rack of filament that just sits out, and if something has been sitting out for more than it depends on where you live really because of humidity, but for us it's more than 2 weeks, then it can get moisture inside the filament itself and then cause stringing on your filament when it comes out. So having those where you can dry your filament as it comes out is really cool. So we're also doing a review video for the iBose Tetris. We reached out to them and they gave us a discount for their model. There's a note on that. We got one of the early units. If you do get one of these units, the fans are kind of loud in the early units, but they've already reached out to us and said, hey, we realize this is an issue, and they're sending us a whole new top unit to swap out. So their customer service is really great. So I can definitely stand behind their customer service. So I'm proud of them for that fact. But it works really well. The only downside, I'll tell you in the review video when it comes out. No spoilers. And one of the most proud prints that I have ever done on any printer was on the Snapmaker U1. You can see this in our shorts video a few weeks back, maybe a week back now. My son Gizmo, that's his YouTube nickname, not his real name, helped me pull this off the U1 when it came off. This giant articulated duck from Cinderwing 3D. We printed in Elegoo Silk Gold PLA, a gradient orange PLA, and black and white, of course, for the eyes. But this thing is absolutely massive. It's as big as our A1 Mini, to be honest. So it was pretty fun to pull that off of there. He got to see it first thing in the morning before he went off to Grandma and Grandpa's for the day. So he was so excited about that. So that's probably the coolest thing I've ever printed, and I printed some pretty cool things. The tiki things that you see behind me on the post are actually speaker holders, and that one and this one glow in the dark, so that's really cool. And the mouth and eyes will light up with the speaker if you have an LED speaker. So I'll probably do a video on that later on how to create that hollow space inside of a file if you want to do something like that. So that's just a little bit about the studio as you guys are hanging out here on Print Pretzels with me. I appreciate the attendance. Last week we went over how to get started with your A1 Mini, or really any of your new 3D printers if you have one. It's kind of all the same. You won't use Bamboo Studio, of course. If you have a non-Bamboo product, you'll use Orca Slicer, but the interface is very similar. So we go back and forth because obviously we have more than just bamboo printers, and you can't print in Orca Slicer on bamboo machines because they have their ecosystem locked down. Is a big to do on that, depending on how you are on the side of the fence. It doesn't really bother me. I can use two different slicers as long as they're very similar, and they are. There's a couple different features, like Bamboo Studio has when you're going to color a model, you can change the connected color. That's not over in Orca Slicer yet that I know of, but I am running slightly behind on their updates, so maybe they're now. I don't know, but it's just some information I got floating around up here. What other things would be useful for new 3D printers? PLA is not just PLA, I promise. If you see glow in the dark PLA, that's not the same as regular PLA. By name it is, but there's some things you need to know about it. Same thing with wood. There's one other one too that's PLA. Well, PLA carbon fiber, PLA glass fiber. Those ones that have abrasives to it are gonna tear apart your machines. If you print with them, you know how to do maintenance on them. So check out our maintenance videos that we've done. The PTFE tubes is what I'm really talking about here. It'll tear apart other parts of your machines too, like if you have an original AMS unit, I wouldn't recommend printing with an abrasive material because it'll tear apart your ceramic inlets because they're not really made to handle the abrasives because they're the original model. The AMS2 Pro and the AMS HTs, they do much better at that because the ceramic inlet on that is much harder, if that makes sense, on the Vickers scale. But what you're gonna have to do with those materials when you print with them is this like sandpaper on the inside of these PTFE tubes. It's just gonna wear them out. Eventually you'll get a split and you'll wonder why is my AMS unit not working? Like why is it not going through? That could be one thing. Or if you are printing with one of the original AMS units, it can wear that ceramic inlet out and it'll cause a friction error. And the error codes are helpful for bamboo, but they're not helpful because there's so many of them. So it's just some things that I've run across as a 3D printer. So I hope that's helped. But so the Sunlu pen is super, any 3D pen is super helpful to repair prints. It's not going to look as good as a precision machine, but you can at least fill in those gaps to where you don't see the infill anymore. And you can't repair every fail. Sometimes you do have to start over. This one, I didn't really want to start over. I probably will do this again once I get a top cover on that, which, side note on that, we did order the acrylic for the Srin top cover on that. So that's more content that we have coming out later on too, when I can get to it. We're starting to get lots of things in the studio to be able to record. I'm interested to see how big that enclosure is. You're supposedly be able to put two of the Phrozen Arcos inside of it, and the Arco machine is quite large, so we'll see how big that is and where that's going to live in the studio. Something else that'll be helpful for printers or hobbyists, if you do have one of the, I would call them first generation multicolor printers, like our P1S is here, or the new LRU Centauri Carbon 2 that came out. Yeah, it just came out, but I would still classify that as a generation 1 multicolor printer because it has purge filament waste that comes out with the nozzle or with the color changes. You're going to want to get some sort of collection system going on because when if that purge chute backs up, it's going to cause failed prints. And what I mean by that is that little thing in the back of the printer where the filament poops out. It'll back up, and then your printer head will either get stuck there or it'll cause a misalignment, and then you'll have let's see, I can best describe it here. like the bottom half of your chest will be here, and then the other side will be in a different location, and it'll be a failed print because you can't use it, or it doesn't look good either. So just be aware of that. There are some things out there that you can help with because even if you have a system in place, it can still happen. The Panda Shield helps. That's what we have on that machine, and I haven't had any issues. It's especially common with PETG for whatever reason. It likes to stick to the inside of those herd chutes. So that's something else that we've run into. That shout out to hobbyists out there. That's the fix. I'm hoping that you guys will get to see the first, not the first, but the first view of the plate cycler popping off the plate here. Let's see if I can't see what the status on that is. Because it looks like it might be done printing the white and black. So it's really neat to watch it go. It'll kick this one off. It'll come back. It'll retract it. It has to come out, and the build plate only comes on halfway, and then it backs up to push it on the rest of the way. It's really cool to watch. As I'm looking at the live stream screen here, that tiki totem over there is made out of wood PLA, which is wood infused PLA, so it's got like wood fibers in it, and it actually does kind of feel like wood shavings per se, and you can feel it's a totally different texture. It's really cool. So print with that. The best nozzle to print I have found for wood PLA, because the fibers are can cause a clog so easily, is the 0.6. You still get great quality on it, but it's less likely to get clogged because of those additives, the wood additives in it. And if you're shopping around for filament, you want a little bit of a discount, and it helps out the channel. If you're shopping over on the Sunlu website, you can drop in code BGlorious and get a little bit of a discount when you're checking out. That's I'd say at least 60% of the filament you see there is Sunlu filament, and 80% on the Centauri side is Sunlu filament. I have some Elegoo mixed in there, and some bamboo filament. Do you need a larger nozzle for marble PLA, Scotty2553? Let me find out that answer to you. It is slightly abrasive, so I would say definitely want a hardened nozzle, and I would say you could. It really depends on what you're printing. If you want that fine detail quality still, you could probably get away with a 0.4 nozzle, but don't be surprised if you get a nozzle clog. I will say with anything that hasn't like the additives on it, which is abrasive too, a 0.6 is going to be better to avoid clogs. I print with PLA Globe very frequently. So if it's similar to that, I've never printed with marble PLA, so maybe I'll order a roll of that so we can test it on live stream maybe next week. And I don't think it would be an issue if you printed with a 0.4, but don't be surprised if a nozzle clog does happen, because sometimes what can happen is not all the additive material that's in it is a uniform size. It's hard to do it that fine. So you could get a bigger piece that gets stuck in the nozzle. You can either nozzle unclog it or swap out your nozzle. If you're running a P1S, that's a bit of a pain. But if you're running, what machine are you running would be a better follow-up question for me to ask for you. Because it really depends on the machine too. If you can easily swap out the nozzle, it might not matter as much if you get a nozzle clog. But if you're running a machine that P1S, Centauri Carbon, nozzle swapping is a little bit of a pain in the rear, I would say try a 6. And you can always see it, depending on how big your piece is, if you don't want to waste a bunch of, if you don't mind, not necessarily wasting, but trying out a small test print, a benchy, in the different nozzle sizes, it'll probably give you a different answer each one. 0.6, you are going to lose some detail. A1 Mini. Okay, so Scotty 2553 A1 Mini. Yeah, you're going to get retraction errors with your A1 Mini. Are you using an AMS or are you using an AMS Lite? If you're using or you're not using an AMS at all, if you don't mind me asking. The reason why I ask is because if you're running an AMS Lite, I won't print with PLA Glow because I've had this experience. I've tried to multicolor print with PLA Glow. The motors for the AMS Lite have a really hard time overcoming the resistance that comes from PLA Glow abrasiveness going through the PTFE tubes. And it's not when it's going in, it's when it's trying to retract it back out to do the next color change. It has a hard time pulling it back out of the nozzle. So yes, don't be surprised if you do marble PLA in your AMS Lite, Scotty, knowing that you have the AMS Lite. Now, don't be surprised if you get retraction errors and you have to pull back the filament manually during your color swaps, which is going to be a pain. Now, if you ever upgrade to the AMS2 Pro, or you could even possibly do the AMS HT if you're just going to use that one. If you use an AMS HT, well, no, that wouldn't work either. You'd have to upgrade to the AMS2 Pro with that AMS hub that they have out now if you wanted to be able to use that material consistently without having the retraction errors. I hope that answers your question. Because we've had something similar happen with another abrasive material with PLA Glow. That retraction, it just doesn't want to come back. I can't tell you how much time I've hit that touchscreen saying, yep, I've pulled it back. You can keep going. And marble PLA is fun to print with. It's been a really long time since I printed with it, probably 2 years. I can't say, I know I said earlier that I've never printed it, but I'm remembering that I printed with some marble PLA 2 years ago from Elegoo. I did a project with it for a terrain project for D&D. So it's been a really long time, but I remember getting nozzle clogs on, but it was a different type of machine back then. It was a Neptune 2S, and it's a whole different type of extruder system, and the nozzle clogs weren't happening because of the additive. It was happening because the extruders weren't in the tool head. The extruders was way back here, and I couldn't get the force to push it in the machine. No problem, Scotty. I'm glad I could help. If you guys have any other questions, chat family, drop them in the chat. Because if I got any of the experience to answer them, I'll help you out. And if not, we can look at it and research it together. This thing's got to be getting close to being done by now. Let's see what the screen says. 72%. Oh no, 2 more hours. Darn, I was hoping I could time it so you guys could watch it come off on the live stream. But you'll see it eject plates on the time lapse footage that I'll have on the review video. It's pretty interesting, a pretty cool machine. Turns it in. It makes this machine feel like the USS Enterprise, or maybe like a uh, uh, one of the Vulcan ships from Star Trek. It's pretty cool. If you have an A1 Mini, check out the Chitu Systems website. The link's in the description below. Check it out and see. I mean, you get 4 build plates with it. So just the build plates alone, and I like having these little gray pieces on the front, so I don't have to actually touch the PEI sheet. The 4 build plates alone has got quite a lot of value to it. When I was unboxing this, I actually dropped the front piece there, this piece right here, and the spring came out of it. And I was super worried. Was I going to be able to fix it? If you do that, it's a super easy fix. Don't panic like I did. You just slide the spring back into place. A little bit of a panic moment. I'm like, did I just break the new product I just got? These little iris fidgets are really fun. Again, this is blown up to 300% size. I didn't print out one of those. All right, I did print out one of those small ones. I don't know where it's at, but we're using them as containers for our little hatchy friends. Let me see if I'm supposed to drop that in the description for you guys. Iceman74, what's going on? Good to see you in the chat, buddy. We got some Frozen stuff to talk about if you're just joining us on the live stream. Our machine is currently down, but we did get the new board that they sent us. We got to get that put in the machine so we can upgrade it so we can use our multicolor system. We've got that. I'll swap over to the Centauri side of the house so you guys can see. We did get the Frozen Arco, or the Frozen Enclosure. We are excited about this. I cannot believe how big it is. So I got to unbox this, do a unboxing video on this thing. It is huge, and I haven't got it out of the box yet. So we got to figure out where it lives. The air purifier max also came in. Seeing these 2 things on my front stoop, I was like, what was delivered and who was it from? So those 2 things are here in the studio. So look out for those coming out in content later on. So they're really big. So we're excited about that. And then since you're just joining us, Iceman, we are currently checking out the Plate Cycler C1M. You're getting a live stream view of this machine. We are doing a review video for that. They did send it to us for free. And we do have it's for the A1 Mini, and it just basically automates it. I've already printed like 2 nights in a row with plates ejecting, and I come back down and there's like 3 plates there. I'm like, yes! So we got some plans for that. And then we're also talking about the Sunlu 3D pen tonight. We're welding a failed print, our first failed print on the U1. Ouch, yeah. But I should have known better. I have not had a great experience with open machines and PETG sticking to the build plate. Even though we have that BQ build plate that they just put out for that, it's doing great for PLA. But the PETG, because the wings are so thin right here, they lifted out the build plate, and it was a super long print. And speaking of BQ, they reached out to me to see if we wanted. They saw our live streams, they saw our videos, they like our content. They reached out to me because they see all their not all their stuff, but some of their stuff, and they like our stuff. Without getting too much into it, they're gonna send us a little package that we're gonna open and talk about their new build plates, and they're sending some stuff for our machines to see if it helps our workflow, or if it upgrades our looks, and if it brings a better vibe to the Bamboo Sanctum side of things here. They're sending us the purple plates first, so those should get here. I don't know when they'll get here, but we're getting traction. So thank you guys for tuning in and checking out those videos as we put out. Our most recent one was the Centauri Carbon maintenance video, and the one right before that was the U1 maintenance video. So check those out if you haven't. So appreciate you guys for watching that stuff and supporting our channel. We are getting a lot of questions like, what are we running in the studio? What filaments do we use? We are putting together a beacons page. You can find that link in the description if you ever want to know what we're running. If you do click on one of the links for the filament or the machine, it will take you to Amazon or the official store, and won't take anything weird for where you can get those products, and we do get a kickback back on that. But the main purpose of that for me is to show you guys what we're running at any point in time in the studio. I just want you to be aware that if you do click and then you go there, it is an affiliate link. For FTC purposes, the Federal Trade Commission, we have to make sure that that is unknown. So, but we're putting that together so you guys know at any given time. And if you click on that, it'll tell you what we have on our workbench, which is the Plate Cycler C1M. That's the first little thing you can click on there. And then it'll also tell you whatever we got on the bench tonight for the live stream. I try to, right before the live stream, I put those things on there so you can see them. It's just something that I'm learning as a creator. Is helpful for you all as an audience. So I'm super excited. I'm learning just like everyone else is in the world. We're all learning. We're learning things together. So that's what this channel is all about. We're gonna learn things together. Anything I know, I want to share that knowledge. That's what those maintenance videos are for. Just to have fun together and eat pretzels, which I haven't eaten one in a minute. Tonight's brand of pretzel, Snyder's of Hanover, twisted pretzel sticks seasoned with a buttery blend of spices, and they are buttery. Excuse me. If you want to know the Glow PLA that we use in the studio, I believe it is on that Beacon site under Strong Hero 3D. You have to go to theirs, and that's the Glow filament that we use for the most part. There's another one on there too. There's like 3 or 4. I'm slowly getting all the stuff that we use onto there, so you guys are know what it is. Because as our family grows, it's an easy way for me to answer that question of, hey, what printers do you have? I can showcase it, and as I showcase it, you can click on the different things and see it for yourself, like works together. Always trying to improve things. And of course, on camera, you can barely see it. We're still printing the bamboo poles slowly but surely to deck out these shelves behind me to make it look like a bamboo glade. I wanted to grab this. Iceman, how's your Arco doing? Were you able to upgrade your firmware so to use your chroma kit? That's currently where we're at with ours. Our Phrozen Arco is dead in the water. I got to upgrade the I don't remember which board it is, but it's sitting right next to the machine. I just got to get to it. I love that printer. It's huge. And when Phrozen made that 2 years ago, it has that flying gantry, which it really. So some of these bigger machines, even that Snapmaker U1, for example, it still goes back and forth, and it'll rattle the shelf pretty well. If it's going really fast, our Centauri Carbons are notorious for that, because those printheads move so fast. But what that flying gantry does is it lowers the center of gravity, so it doesn't happen as much. That was a pretty cool innovation that that machine had. Iceman 74, you still don't have your kit yet? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Well, I have ours. I can't use it yet, so I'm right there with you. But now that's on me because I have the part to be able to fix it. So with all the other stuff coming into the studio, it's on my to-do list. Just now with the enclosure and the air purifier, I want to get that content out there so that people can see it. So it's there on the list. I just got to get to it. Drop it in the comments if you have a to-do list of your own too. Bringing it back to the cycler for a minute, I'm still trying to envision how to efficiently put this into our workflow. And when I mean efficiently, I don't mean like, how do I use it? How do I program it? I got all that figured out. It's really easy. Chitu Box really has a really good intro video on how to use a machine, and uploading your file to the website, super easy. So it can calculate it and put it, and then you just send the G code over to the printer. But I mean, getting it up here and efficient. So putting it up here on the shelf over here on the right, which you can just see on camera. The AMS light is going to be mounted up on the wall. The bracket's still there. I just put it on its original bracket for the live stream. But I'm not sure what to do with the plates when they eject them off. Eventually, we're going to have 10 plates on here. And while I can put a laundry basket with a pillow or something off the side of the shelf, cats, our furry management team, they like to be in pillows and fluffy things and in square containers. So I'm not sure how to keep a plate from falling on a furry friend. So if you guys have any thoughts on that, you can drop it in the comments later after the video or in the chat now. That's one of the things, like I don't know what to work around that. I mean, my initial thought is to put it up on a little pedestal here and just have it shoot out to the little shelf top here, which would probably work. But with the new footprint of this machine, the previous stand system that I had for it doesn't work. So now I have to go back to the drawing board on how to implement that into the machines behind me, or the workflow behind me. Because what we're going to do with this is anything that has to have like parts and stuff printed with that thing that's printing, or file that's printing on these machines, like for example these fidget clickers that we're doing, the tops are all different fidget clicker designs, but the bottoms are all the same. So I can print out a billion bottoms and dedicate one machine just to the tops. So that's how we're going to implement that, which is super nice. It allows me to automate with the smaller build plate, but the production capacity is going to be just as much, if not more, because when I put it in the slicer, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 35 tops, takes about 17 hours. For 35 bottoms, takes about, I think it was like 12 hours. So it can keep up now with our bigger machines because it doesn't get downtime. Assuming there's no nozzle clogs or retraction errors or things like that. The no downtime requiring human intervention saves a lot of time. So it's just it's changing things on how we're doing it in a very good way. So I'm excited about this machine, if you can tell. So, and the key to this whole thing is making sure that this piece back here that holds the plate is level, because if it doesn't clip it, it won't pull the plate out. And if it's too low, it won't be able to go back and catch the clip. It's not like super fine leveling requirement. It's just got to be in a range, and they show you how to in the how-to video, which is really nice. So I had this set up within 7 to 10 minutes if I wasn't recording things along with it. Oh, I was supposed to get you guys that Maker Ice 3D. Sorry about that. Get you their Patreon. We do have their commercial license. They got some pretty cool fidget clickers. I'll do a screen share with you guys so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So this is Maker Ice 3D. I don't need that. Don't need that. This is their stuff. I mean, they have some cool Pokemon ones. They got the Labubus, Minions. It's all cool stuff. And just because we're talking about the Chitu System Plate Cycler, this is the website that you upload your file. So you'll slice all your plates. You'll save it as the G code. You'll load your G code up into this site and click generate file. I wonder here. I'll show you guys just because I'm already here. So this is what I did earlier. Wherever I went to. So say we're doing the starfish right here. Nope. So if it says plate cycler, that's something I already did. I've been doing a lot of this. So we'll do this one. No, that's not the A1 Mini. Oh, it's a desktop. There we go. Okay, so this one I already did, but this one is one I currently did, but I did not upload it yet. So if we go there, that's already sliced. You can see all the Pokeball fidget clickers. There's 4 plates of them, and 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours, 8 hours. And you can only run 4 colors. So your AMS light's perfect for this. If you do any more 4 colors, I'll give you an error code. So you'll drop your file. You'll see it previewed here. Tells you the full duration. Generate your file. And spits it out. And you know it's complete if it says .plate cycler on it. So a little bit of a preview on that. Pretty fun to do. Actually, I shouldn't say pretty fun. I should say a lot of fun. I get distracted really easily when it comes to this thing. I'm already thinking about, okay, so I got 10 plates on there. What if I sliced a file with 12 plates and just started reloading the plates as I happen to walk by the machine? Can I get 20 plates? I mean, there's so much potential with this. Like the automation potential on this is really fun. I hope they make one for the A1 because, yeah, that bigger build plate. I don't know how the engineering part of this is. There is a tension cable that the tool head pulls in order to eject it. It's really fun to watch. So. And then next week, this should be over there and it's home. Not permanently, but it will be there until I can figure out a system to account for these plates. We got 4 more coming from Chitu Box. They sent those for us because we want to do like a long-term, hey, can we print 8 of these plates full of the Pokeball fidget clickers? Excuse me. And again, for those of you that are just joining the live stream, the Sunlu pen, any 3D pen, when it comes to repairing your prints, it's about, do you need to fill in just a little bit. Like it got 90%, 95%, and it's just like the top few layers that didn't fill in. That's what we did with our little carrots here from 3DP Mom. She's got some awesome fidgets. But what happened with our machine is we got I think it was actually 98% done, and it was just the top of the carrot. You could see into the infill that didn't print because our AMS unit, the tube decided to split for the green, and it caused it to fail. So instead of throwing this out, we used our Sunlu pen earlier in the live stream when we were having camera issues. Sorry, with the green PLA filament from Sunlu to just kind of touch up the tops, and then a little bit later in the live stream, we had the same issue, just a little bit bigger of a problem with our PETG Dragon here from Strong Hero 3D. It wasn't the filament's fault. It was the extended print time with PETG in an open enclosure. That's been my experience. If you print longer than 18 hours, bed adhesion problems can happen, especially on wing pieces like this. I could have printed with a brim. It may have helped. It may not have. There's no telling. But the wings lifted off there, causing the print to fail. So we stopped the print. It was at like 96%. It was rough. So we took the Sunlu pen earlier and we just filled in the infill and kind of smooth over the top side just to give it not necessarily a finished look, because I'm not a machine and I don't have the precision to do a finished look, but just to be able to keep from seeing down into the infill and close it. So, and then it makes it a little bit of a contrast. So that's how you can use your 3D pen to repair prints. Some of the other uses that we use for prints. I see James, I see your comment. I'll get to you in just a second. I just want to wrap up this thought. I see yours, Iceman, and I will answer that question as well. You can also use this to weld prints together. So like our light boxes, I don't have any right now up there yet. I want to do some, I have some bamboo ones I got to get up there. When you take the front plate and the back plate, you put them together, you can weld on the side. I just wouldn't weld anywhere that's supposed to be visible for the light section. So let's get to these comments. Iceman74, have you seen the new Atom Form printer? Yes, I've seen that printer. It looks awesome. Those 12 nozzles. I did the $50 refundable hold your spot in line, and I've reached out to them to see if they would be interested. Atom Form, if you're listening, shout out to you guys. That stuff that you're making right there, that Atom Form printer, it looks really cool. It looks really promising. The mechanics behind it, 12 nozzles. It looks like it's the vortex system, but in a circular pattern. I'm hoping it saves spaces in the back. So that's awesome engineering. I hope to hear more from that, and I look forward to that project. I did the $50 backer, non-refundable, or not refundable, refundable for that. I'm not saying you guys should. That's just, I wanted to hold my place in line in case there is more to this printer than we currently know. James, oh, I got a bag of those same pretzels the other day. Good stuff. Yes, they are really good pretzels. I'd be eating more, but I don't want to have too much crunching going on with this new microphone. I don't know how it's coming across the live stream until I view it later, and then I'll know how many pretzels I can actually eat on Print Pretzels. James, did you get your Arco parts yet? Yes. If you're just joining the live stream, we did get our Arco parts, and I'll quickly stop over to the Centauri side of the house here. We got some other frozen stuff too. So let me jump over there so I can show you guys on what that is and how excited I am for that stuff to have arrived. So jumping over there, pretty excited about this. It is crazy how big this thing is. I'm 6 foot tall, or 6'1", and this is the enclosure. Like, look at this thing. It is massive. It showed up on my front porch, and I'm like, what is that? So You can look forward to that. We're going to be doing an unboxing video on that. The directions on there says two-person team on that. I'm going to have to figure out how to achieve that. And then this is the Phrozen Air Purifier Max that we talked about a little while back that Phrozen gave us a discount to order. We got that going. Well, gonna figure out where these gonna live in the studio. And our Arco is over here on the side. I don't think you can see it on camera. You might be able to see just the edge of it. We did get the new board part that for that machine basically a day before these arrived. And we will get that into that machine at some point when I gotta balance that to-do list. But we did get that part. We did get some cool things from them. These are our Centauris over here. That one's currently out of order because we had an issue with the connector to the nozzle, the hot end connector. If you're not careful with these machines, when you go to do your nozzle hot end swaps, there's a little connector in the back. If you have a pair of tweezers, hold that connector in place to pull that out of there, because if you don't, over time, that's our original model. I've done way too many nozzle swaps or hot end swaps on that thing, and eventually that connector will wiggle loose. I did reach out to Elegoo on that, and they said that they are going to do some sort of like tweaking on that. I don't know how long that'll take, or whether they're going to offer a new connector board or something. I don't know, or offer it as they've been out for a while. Offer it as like a purchase upgrade or something. So, but the Centauri 2 Carbon did come out. We don't have any of those yet. I'm not affiliated with Elegoo or anything, but if you did purchase any of these Elegoo Centauri Carbons when they first came out and they promised a multicolor, I know it's a thing. But if hey Kilala, if you did purchase that, you did have an opportunity to get an $80 off coupon when the Centauri Carbon 2 did come out. We've got a couple of those coupons, and I'll talk to you a bit on the other side here about that. So, about the Centauri Carbon 2. Who do we think that machine is for? It looks like I need to adjust the camera on the Alpha Centauri side. It's a little low. All right, so with the Centauri Carbon 2 coming out, that really solidifies like the generations of printing. And when I say generations, I don't mean people's ages. I mean the ages of printers. You have like the OG printers that were the Bowden extruders, and that was a time of printing that was really rough because you constantly had to monitor your printer. Then we moved on to the direct drive extruders, which are awesome because they don't clog nearly as much because that force is right next to the nozzle. But that was another generation of printer. And then we got the multicolor, which has all the purge waste, which is why we have these bins below us. Or not below us, but below the machines to collect all that filament waste. Then we got to this age, current age, of multicolor, tool heads, filament, no minimal waste. There's the purge tower, and a little bit of when you load the filament in, way less than, I won't need a bin to house it all. I can use a garbage can in the studio somewhere. But so that came out. We see our atom form printers coming out. We see the Vortex coming out with the bamboo. We are moving on to that new age of printing for multicolor, and I like Elegoo. They make great filament. They make great printers. They make reliable printers. And there's a couple things here or there that can be improved, but they are budget friendly. But that printer, Centauri Carbon 2, feels a little what's the phrase I'm looking for? A good printer, a little too late. Now, what it would be good for is if you're printing with one filament color, that canvas system can switch to the next spool of filament automatically. That would be super helpful if you're printing something that's really it requires a lot of filament. I use the AMS units like that, or if you have a bunch of spools of filament that have only a little bit left on them, and you just want to do a crazy multicolor but not really multicolor print using all that filament, I use the AMS units to do that. The canvas system can do that too. Uh, have you seen the new Atom Form printer? I got that comment. The Iceman. Oh, cool. I want one of those too. The enclosure. The enclosure. I am gonna get that unboxed here in the next. I can't promise a time because it's really big. I don't know how long it's gonna take. But I want to get that unboxed. I want to film that here on this side of things because I don't know if I have enough room on the Centauri side to do the filming. But it's huge, and uh, I reached out to Phrozen because they were working on AWIN and their affiliate links and stuff like that. So we'll get that on our bio page or our beacons page here soon. Uh, that enclosure is gonna. I kind of have plans for that. I want to turn that into like a UV print station, and I don't mean UV like resin. I mean uh, like glow in the dark PLA. If I can put a machine in there that I could put UV LED lights in there and have a camera time lapse in there, I think that'd be really cool. Uh, for like video footage. So that enclosure is gonna be pretty awesome. I just don't know where it's gonna live. I hope, I don't know if it will. I hope it'll fit on those shelves. Uh, it might stick off a little bit. I might have to move some things around over there so you guys can look forward to that on live streams. Like where do things move in the studio when we get a new piece of equipment? And if you're shopping around for filament and you need a discount code, you can check out Sunlu. You can use the code BeGlorious and get a little bit of a discount. It does give us a little bit of a kickback too, but uh, that is available for you guys to use. I use a lot of Sunlu filament, uh, except for the cardboard spools up there. I'm pretty sure, and those four orange spools over there. Pretty sure that's all Sunlu filament. You guys have a hard time seeing that because of the overlay, but there's a whole line of filament up there. And same thing with Centauri side. I use a lot of PETG from Sunlu, especially for those functional pieces, um, our display things for art fairs and all that good stuff. So we're getting into the back end of the live stream here. I want to open it up to any questions you guys might have as you're going through your 3D printing journey. Uh, do you have filament issues? Do you have stringing on your prints? Excuse me. Do you have uh, adhesion issues? Does it look like a potato chip coming off of your build plate? James, I was thinking that that enclosure would enable me to print ABS on my Anycubic Cobra 2 Max. That's what Phrozen advertises, is that not only does that enclosure allow for the ambient heat to stay in there, but you can vent it too. It's got a dedicated vent port, several dedicated vent ports on it. Let me share a screen here. And I'm not currently affiliated with Phrozen at all. I do have some of their products, but screen capture. Let's go on over to their website so you guys can see Phrozen's enclosure. Right there. That's it. Yeah, that one. So this is the enclosure. That's what it looks like when it's all set up. So there's the vent port, excuse me, event. No, I'm good. I don't need Valentine's Day stuff. Uh, it's got the dedicated vent port on the side here. It's got some pouches. They show that they have resin printers in there, noise control, odor reduction, dust proof, water resistant, heat resistant, child and pet guard. I'm definitely going to be able to test the pet guard on that. I'm telling you, it's a big, look, they put a person in there. That's the Arco. That's two giant resin printers next to each other. There's the dimensions, extra large interior for easier operation. Engineered for fire safety, water resistant, made to last print after print. No tools needed. I think it's Velcro setup. Fold and fast. Enclosure. It has a temperature and humidity meter. Anti-UV transparent window. Blocks UV light. Exhaust vent. It's got 3 ports. 1, 2, and I believe one on the back side. Either, I don't remember if it's on this side or if it's on the back. Oh, that's a tool bag is what that is. Cable port, so if you have to run any power cables out of it, and then it's got the base, so it kind of encloses that power cord spot up. UV free LED, so if you're printing with UV prints like resin, it won't cure your resin by accident. And there's some of the dimensions of that thing. That, like I said, that box is giant, so we'll have to figure out where this lives in the studio. Um, but I am super excited about this. And then that other thing you guys saw, gotta see if I can find it on their website. I think it's under accessories and air purifier. Bow, right there. Air purifier max. So this works with the enclosure, as far as I'm aware, if I haven't actually unboxed them yet to verify that. But this will take out your resin smells, dust taking over your space. Tells you what it does for different printer types. Keep the fumes at the source. You can have an open air version, or not, let me rephrase that. It can be open air, or it can be dedicated with those ports. They have replacement filters. These are all different printers they work with, or works with. The standard magnetic exhaust port. We do have one of those coming. Phrozen did let me know that they're out of stock on them, so they couldn't send us one with our stuff, but it is coming. So when that gets here, I'll let you guys know. But let me get off of the screen share now, get back over to Bamboo Sanctum. And a few weeks back, somebody did ask me, are we going to stream from the Centauri side of the house? And we are. Don't worry. We're getting to that. I want to be able to give you guys a little bit of mystery on which side of the house we're going to start live streams on each week. But we are able to transition from side to side. It's if you guys go back and watch some of the early live streams that we've done and some of the early content that we filmed, it's just been a real fun journey to be able to grow to this point in time with you all that have been with us. And I hope that those of you that are just joining us continue on this journey with us, because it is so fun to do. As we're now getting traction with companies like BQ and Big Tree Tech. They're sending some stuff out because they like what we're doing. They like the growth that they've seen on the channel. They see that we are a real world use case, showcasing and offer other those in the world that are in the same place or similar places as us. And we're building that community that just likes to help each other with our 3D printing hobby. And again, if you guys have any questions on where you're at in your 3D printing hobby, any issues you're having, or success stories, say, hey, I've printed X, Y, and Z. This thing's really cool. Drop those in the chat too. And if you haven't watched our shorts video on this yet, I'll give you a little bit of a spoiler. I think the thing that it's silly, but the thing that I've printed that it means the most to me, that I've ever printed this far in my 3D printing journey came off of the Snapmaker U1, and it was because of my son's expression when it came off the printer. This giant duck, I don't know if I'll ever be able to sell this at an art fair just because of his reaction. Gizmo, we call him here in the studio. Not the duck, but my son, or Abby and I's son. As soon as it came off the printer, you can see it in the shorts video, he's 8 months old. But and straight into the mouth. It was funny. PLA. So he is the new journey as a father is been a blessing, and getting to share that with my son in moments like that, that is a treasure that I will never forget, unless I get like dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that. But even then, I hope I wouldn't forget it. But uh, it, it is just, this is by Cinderwing 3D. The original file is like this size. So we blew it up. I think it's like 300% size on the Snapmaker U1 since there's no really any filament waste. So this little giant duck brought me a lot of joy the morning that we pulled it out the printer, Gizmo and I. So just sharing you a little bit of a father moment that we had with our 3D printers. Another tool for 3D printers, I guess it's for 3D printers and 3D printers, uh, that is probably even more helpful than a 3D pen. And it's really a basic tool that I wasn't aware of when I first began 3D printing. It might not even been out at that point in time, but it's the no clogger. And the what I mean by the no clogger, if I can find it over here somewhere. Yeah. If you have a filament clog, I can't tell you how many times I've used this machine, or it's not a machine, but this tool. If you get a filament jam in your hot end or in your extruder and you can't get it out. So for our A1 Mini here, for example, if your nozzle's preheated, you remove this piece here, take it off, and it's the same size as filament diameter, so 1.7. You can shove it through there and it'll expel with pressure any filament gunk in your nozzle. If it doesn't do anything, that usually means that there's inside of the extruder gear, there's a piece of filament that's broken off. That's especially notorious with the P1Ss. But this tool, and I don't know if I have it on beacons yet, but I'll get it on there in the next 24 hours. But it is in our 3D printer tools video. Is super helpful as a 3D printer. I wish I would have known about this, especially when oh God, back in the Bowden extruder days when your extruder was way over here and your nozzle was way over here. Just being able to force it through would have been helpful. Now, this shouldn't cause any damage to your printer. Just be careful because the nozzle's hot and the end of this is sharp. It's pointed. So be careful when you use this. But it is super helpful as a hobbyist in the hobby. Iceman 74, I love that tool. Yes, it's, if I had out of all the tools I own, including my Cobalt tools, one that I use the most, that brings me the most relief when it comes to frustration when I use it, it is definitely that tool. Screwdrivers, you use them in their screwdriver. But this tool, when you have a print that's looking at potentially being a fail because of a clogged nozzle, this tool can change things out. Now, it's a little less useful when you have like the A1 Mini, because you can swap out the nozzle, but you don't have to if you can just clear it with the no clogger. There's some on Amazon too that are similar. The no clogger I think is like the OG version, but there's other ones out there that are like it. What are some other useful things? Definitely check out the BQ Big Tree Tech. yeah, I know we just got affiliated with them, not really sponsored. They're sending us some stuff, but if you look at our live streams, we've been using them since we started. These build plates are game changers when it comes to adhesion. You can print at lower temperatures, and if you are in a power outage area and regular PEI build plates that are like this, they are made to, when you heat up, they you print on them, and then when they cool down, they release your prints. They're designed that way. The BQ plates are not. They're designed to print at lower temperatures, and 9 chances out of 10, when that power outage goes out, even if it's out for 4 hours, uh, as long as your machine resumes properly, that shouldn't release off the build plate. I've had many times where my plate was fine, but my machine didn't resume properly. It wanted to level for some reason and then knocked it off the plate, but the plate performed just fine. So they're sending us. They have new colors coming out. They're sending us the purple ones to check out, along with some other machines for our additions to our machines to see if it helps our workflow and if it's be something we would be comfortable with saying, hey, this helped us in this way. It may help you too. So be on the lookout for that. I don't know when that's going to arrive. They did. BQ did reach out to us and they said they sent us some stuff. So I'll let you guys know when that gets here. So, and if you are new to the hobby, moisture is one of the worst things that can happen to your filament as it sits out. So one of the things that, if you have the original AMS from Bamboo that you can get from Sunlu, is the AMS heater. That is the most friendly plug-and-play AMS heater for the original unit that's out there. If you want more of a dialed-in experience and you want to be able to change the different bays, power user experience, that's what the iBose Tetris. And if you're just joining us on the live stream, there is an announcement I gotta let you guys know about the Tetris. That video is still coming out, but I've decided to delay it because as we were testing this machine, the fans really started to like give that groaning and whining noise because we have one of the first units. I reached out to iBose and their customer service is spot on, so I can back them on that part. At the very least, I'm very proud of how they handled the situation. But they acknowledged that the fans weren't up to par as what they thought they were. So not only did they acknowledge that, I expected them to just send us replacement fans and we put them in and call it a day. No, they're sending us a whole new top, and it's not just because we're a content creator. They're doing it for everyone that got the early units. They're sending us a whole new top part where the fans are located at, so we just swap it out and call it a day. That is the easiest fix that I think I've ever heard of when it comes to like customer service stuff. So, and then we have the Phrozen side of things where we got to swap out that entire board. So customer service can do different things. The Phrozen did offer us a new machine, but that's also a logistics nightmare when it comes to a giant printer that you've had for 9 months and we don't have the box for anymore. So, but we are getting that taken care of. So, just a contrast in comparison of customer service. Phrozen was great. They were very helpful. It's just what to do about it. And it's a very much bigger issue than a small little unit. So different ways to handle different things. So, those are two ways that you can go about drying filament. There are dedicated filament like stations and boxes and things like that. Eventually, I'd like to get into that. But here in Michigan, our humidity's high-ish in the summer, but in the winter times, it's actually kind of low, at least for us here. Our dehumidifier doesn't really kick on in the wintertime. So if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. Let me know what's going on out there in the world of 3D printing. And Phrozen service has been great for me. James, best experience so far. Their service is great. TNU, I might botch this. I hope I don't. I'm sorry, Phrozen, if I do botch this. TNU, the head of marketing over there, super great guy. He's been super active on the Phrozen Arco forum, answering people's questions. Like, I'm very proud of Phrozen on how they're handling things. They have had to delay things, which is unfortunate, but I don't have any complaints. If that sounded like a complaint, I did not mean that as that way. I don't have any complaints, excuse me, about their customer service. They have been spot on with any issues I've had with them. So don't take it as that. I hope don't take it as that. I was gonna say something else too. Um, I was talking about the AMS heater. Trying to think of, oh, if you don't have an AMS unit and you have a bunch of filament that is left over uh, at the end of your rolls, I mean, you got rolls that are like this that you can't really use anything with. I mean, you can, make some art with a 3D pen, but if you want to be able to connect these together, Sunlu just, I think it's like a year ago now, they put out a filament connector that they have on their website. It's super helpful. I actually, a video a while back, I want to say it was like 6 months ago now. I took a bunch of filament that I just had sitting out in the studio and time lapsed it. It took me like 3 hours to put it all together, but I printed an entire Mandalorian helmet out of the Sunlu filament, or not just Sunlu filament, but all of the random filament strands I had left over. It takes a little bit of time, but you're not throwing out filament that, I think I wound up putting a whole roll together with that and printing that big piggy Mandalorian piggy bank holder. So if you don't have an AMS unit, that's definitely a tool for you. If you do have an AMS unit, the trick to use that with is put all, and I'm actually doing it currently right now on the A1 over there. You can see a bunch of random colors that are in that. James, I have one of those. My first experience didn't go so well. It is a little bit difficult to get the hang of at first with the connector pieces. But I'll tell you a trick that I learned in a minute. But if you do have an AMS unit, you can program the filament pieces as all the same color and the same material type in the slots and slice a file with that one filament color and it will eat it all up. I keep my filament shelves cleared that way. The Sunlu filament splicer, but it's probably my fault. I had a little bit of trouble figuring it out at the beginning too. You have to cut or what I wound up doing is I cut the filament ends at opposite 45-degree angles. So this way, or no, the same 45. Anyways, I can't explain it. I cut 45-degree angle one way, 45-degree angle the other way, meshed them up together. And as they're heating up, you gently push together on the inside. And then as soon as it's done and it beeps, bring it out and smooth it out with the, like blow on it and smooth it out as it cools. And that was the trick that I learned how to really get it to function optimally. But it is super helpful. If I didn't have all these AMS units, that would be a tool I would to use to try to save my filament, especially if I was on a budget. When I first started 3D printing, I would do projects that I would paint. So if I wouldn't care if it was like a rainbow color item, I would spray paint it over and then actually paint it. So the color wouldn't matter to me, but the filament usage would matter. Just be careful when you smooth it, James, because it is a little hot. So that's why I blow on it and then, or like figure out a way to cool it down. You could have a little fan next to it, would probably be easier. But U2NVM3, does Sunlu filament fit in Bamboo AMS? Absolutely. I love it for that. Not only does it fit their AMS, but I wonder if I can do it. Yeah, I got one around here somewhere. Hold on. I'm gonna answer your question with a very good answer, I hope. Let me grab one of these filament rolls. Yeah. Okay. So this was one of the most exciting things for me in the last, I think it was the last 6 months, maybe 9 months now, that Sunlu did. That really got me on board with them for filament usage because they are slightly cheaper than bamboo. But We all recognize this as a bamboo roll, I hope. If you don't, this is a bamboo roll. And that's not any knock against you, it's just this is a bamboo filament roll. This is a Sunlu version 3 filament roll. They are now, I would say, identical. The refills can be swappable. I'll probably put out another video on this. I did it as part of one of our other videos, but I did do an error in that video. I accidentally put a bamboo roll or a Sunlu roll, filament roll on a Sunlu filament roll. So I'll redo that video at some point to show everyone that Sunlu and bamboo are now swappable. I think Elugu roll refills are able to be put on here too, but I can't verify that for 100% because I don't think I have any Elugu refills at this time. I used to, but I used them all up. I used them pretty quickly. So yes, they are compatible. They are almost identically on the same rolls. I think the Sunlu spools are ever so slightly a little bit thinner, but it doesn't make a difference to my AMS units at all. So it's super helpful. Now, what I will say is Sunlu doesn't have any RFID tags on their filament reels, so you are going to have to program that into your slicer. But they do have a filament profile in Bamboo Studio, and I use it constantly. Like right now, I have the Sunlu filament profile on all these colors in here. I've got the orange, which is actually, I take that back. It's not all the colors. The orange is Bamboo. It picked it up with the RFID tag, but the red is actually Elugu, believe it or not, which is I use a Sunlu profile, prints just fine. The black is Sunlu, and the white is Sunlu. And then down here in the AMSHT, we have Sunlu grass green. So all the rolls work just fine. Even their early rolls, which is this grass green I have in here, is their version 2 roll. It works just fine in the AMSHT. Now, I will say, you guys probably see that I have a cardboard spool in this AMS2 Pro. My warranty has just run out on my AMS2 Pro, so I can't really avoid it anymore. Because they're in the US here, we have a 1-year warranty, and I got this at this time last year. But if you have a newer one, or if you purchased it in the last 6 months, like our AMSHTs, don't put a cardboard spool in your AMS because it does technically void the warranty, according to Bamboo. Something you need to know as a hobbyist. And if you're printing with the Strong Hero 3D PETG or their PLA in Bamboo Studio and an Orca Slicer, they don't have a filament profile, and the one that I found works the best for me is the Sunlu PLA Plus for their PLA, and for their PETG, I use the Sunlu PETG profile for that. Works the best. Haven't had any issues with that on any machine at all. It really picks it up well. I think they have very similar printing profiles or printing requirements. I have never printed matte yet. Is a 0.4 nozzle good for that? I'm going to say yes. Matte is, it's just as far as I'm aware of, it's just a texture on the outside. So, and I could be wrong on this. I don't print much in matte. Matte colors can clog. Let's see. I haven't had any issue with matte. I print with a lot of matte when it comes to like fidget clickers and stuff like that. I'm printing with a matte white right now. So matte filament, excuse me, and this is coming from the Bamboo Labs wiki. Matte filaments will be just fine in your machine. There's no higher risk of clogging compared to your PLA. So on part of our live stream earlier, I did talk about how not all PLA is the same. Just because it says it's PLA, matte is fine. Matte, from my experience, what is different about matte is the texture that comes out. It doesn't have a glossy texture like this PLA will. Um, a matte will come out as a non-glossy, semi-glossy texture. Now, where PLA comes in different for different varieties, PLA marble, PLA stone, PLA wood, PLA glow, and any of the PLA carbon fiber, glass fiber, those will have like the CF and the GF on the end. Those are going to have additives on there that make it a little more abrasive. And those additives are what are going to cause a clog more or less. Um, you can get away with PLA glow. I do a lot of it on here. As you can see, I did the tiki totems here. All the eyes of the tiki totems have PLA glow. Um, the ones that are not like this one or that one are all wood PLA. Uh, those are like different textures, additives that I've printed with. With the PLA glow, you can get away with a 0.4 nozzle, but it's going to tear up your PTFE tubes. Your PTFE tubes are your highways for your machines. The additive is just going to be sandpaper in them, and it's going to eventually wear your the inside of your PTFE tube out, and it's going to split like a chest burster from Aliens. Just, you'll see a split in it. I wouldn't recommend printing with any additive machine with the AMS Lite because it has that additive also adds friction to the inside, so it can't retract it. So 0.6 nozzle is going to be the best to print with an additive to keep with the quality. These tiki totems you see here that aren't like the fluorescent green ones, those were all printed with a 0.6. Actually, no, I take that back. Those were also printed with a 0.6 nozzle, so I didn't lose too much of the detail, and it saves time. So that's a bonus you get. Now, I will say, if you're trying to print fine details, like I say, these Pokeballs here that are on the plate, a 0.4 nozzle is going to be better for finer details. So I hope that answers your question. Okay, ordered a color and didn't know it was matte. Good to know about the different PLAs. Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that helps. A lot of the matte colors are cool to have like contrasting things. If you do like a multicolor print, like a dragon, if you have one like a stony scale, like the crystal dragons, you have stony scales, you can use matte with like grays, a gradient gray, and it'll give it like a really cool stone look. And then you can do the crystals and a translucent PLA. So we're coming into the final minutes of the live stream here. If you have any final questions, anyone, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll try to stay here for a minute or two to see if we get any extra comments or questions. I appreciate you guys attending the live stream tonight. We're here every Wednesday night from 7:30 to 9:30, right around there. Answering your questions, hanging out, eating some pretzels. I'll watch the live stream here probably tomorrow to make sure that my pretzel crunching isn't too loud. James, have you noticed it with PETG or translucent PETG, depending on the temp, is it a high or a low gloss? I haven't really noticed too much of a difference. Let me make sure I understand the question. Have you noticed with PETG or translucent PETG, depending on the temp, is it a higher or low gloss? So, in my experience, it's a translucent, like this dragon here. This is translucent PETG, all of it, from the blue to the red to the orange. It's just different PETGs. The higher the temp, the more glossy it's going to be, but you have to slow it down too. It's kind of like silk PLA. You get that really not translucent, shimmer. Higher temps, greater gloss. Yeah, that's what I've noticed as well. You get more of that glossy texture to it. But then again, if you get too high, then you start going the other direction too. You'll lose it. So it's just dialing in the filament, or finding the right pre-programmed filament profile to go with it. That's why I like the Strong Hero 3D so much. A lot of the translucents that I've tried in the past, even this is with Sunlu, some of the filament brands, um, you have to dial in each filament color sometimes. But I've tried, I think, almost all of Strong Hero 3D's um, translucent filaments for PETG, and they all print with the same filament Sunlu PETG profile perfectly, especially on the bamboo machines. They really bring out that gloss. The Centauri Carbons handle them well too. I just find that the Bamboo P1S handles it just a little bit better. And again, we're here every Wednesday night to hang out, show you what we're doing in the studio, talk about what's new in the 3D printing world. Next week, we'll probably, when I read into it a little bit more, we'll talk about what we see going on in the 3D printing world with the printing bands that are coming out, and I'm seeing the different content creators offer their opinions on it. I don't. I'm more of the we're gonna have to wait and see because there's a lot of money in 3D printing, and where there's money, politics get involved. It's a wait and see type thing. I don't think for us that are doing it as hobbies, it's gonna matter too much. I don't think there's gonna be too much oversight, but we'll get into that next week. James, good luck with your Arco board swap. Yes, I know that's gonna take some time, so I'm hoping to get that done here in the next, hopefully, couple days. But we got all that other stuff that we got to do too. So we got content to film, content to edit. So we'll try to squeak it in here somewhere. Uh, so we are here every Wednesday night, 7:30 to 9:30. If we're not here for whatever reason, we do post on our community tab to let you know, and we'll also post on our Facebook. So follow us on there to make sure that if there's power outages, because we do live here in Michigan in the wintertime, I know the nation has been experiencing some power outages lately with this winter weather, crazy winter weather. Uh, we'll let you know there that if there has to be a cancellation for whatever reason, which I think we've had like one, maybe two, it's either illness or power outage, we'll be here. So I enjoy hanging out with you all. And until next week, be glorious.